Well, good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. Grab something, grab a cup of coffee. Hopefully, it's in one of our mugs, and sit down. Let's talk about preparedness for a minute because I had an interesting comment on one of the recent videos that I thought that I'd answer. By the way, this is getting to be one of our big sellers. Shot placement is everything, and there you have it. For those of you who haven't seen it, it is cool. And this is the first one. I think I mentioned the other day that this is the first one that is available in a set of four because I've had people wanting, buying quite a few mugs at one time, and I know they're either getting sets for themselves or for their friends or something. And so I told my web guy, I said, go ahead and make these available in sets of four also, and then we're going to do that for all of the others. The reason I do that is because I found out that when we ship four or more, it cuts down our shipping price per mug, and so I'm able to give you kind of a break, on the prices of them. Shipping is included in the price, and for instance, they're $25 a piece. That's including shipping, handling, all of that stuff. And but when you buy a set of four, we give it to you for $80. So that's a savings of $20 right there, and that's pretty good, huh? So if you order these, and you can do that through the Stonemont website, uh, when you select this and you bring this up, it'll have a place for you to select one or four. All you got to do is hit the four. Okay, there you go. Let me have a sip, then we'll talk about preparedness. All right, now I'm ready. I don't think you don't have to scratch most preppers. And by that I mean preppers, not what we refer to here as PMPs, as preparedness minded people, but preppers. The ones that kind of come at it from some fear and anxiety. You don't have to scratch most of them too deep to find the fear, right? There it is. And that was kind of shown in a recent comment that I had, and it was to one of my, I forget the name of the video, but it's been within the last week. And one person said, "Well, I'm prepared enough that I know that everybody, when it all comes down or whatever, everybody's going to come try to take my stuff, my gear." And everybody, I think he didn't say try. I think he said going to take it. I don't know. And this is something that I think that a lot of people in preparedness worry about, and it's something that a lot of people kind of caution other people about. Well, if you prepare all that stuff, other people are just going to take it away from you. And I wonder at that reasoning. Okay, I wonder why that is, because there is something in too many preppers mind that if they don't have one thing to worry about, they're going to find something else to worry about. Preparedness is not something that should cause fear. It should give you confidence, and it's not something that you do piecemeal. It's like, oh, I'm going to do all this over here, and then I'm going to do this. It's something that you should do in an integrative way. That's why I call this channel and my business Integrative Preparedness, by looking at everything that you need and bringing them together in an integrative way. And of course, if you have stuff, whatever stuff is to you, why would not you plan to defend it? Okay, that's my question. Why wouldn't you have a plan in place to defend it? And I don't mean wait until you've got all your stuff and then, okay, now how am I going to defend this stuff? How am I going to protect it? You should be thinking about that from the very beginning, okay? Because you already have stuff, right? You have you have your family. You should be thinking about protecting yourself from the very beginning, and because that really is one of the first things that you should think about, right? And hopefully you have taken the steps necessary to be able to protect yourself, whether you're at home or on the road or wherever you are. But I still see too many comments out there like this, and that is, well, people are just going to come take it. It's the same people that are all worried about the golden hordes coming out into the countryside from the cities and just raping and pillaging everywhere, It's not really based on anything that they know. It's based on just kind of stories that they've heard many years ago. I forget who the first guy was. His name will come to me after I finish this, but he's the one that came up with this idea of the people spilling out of the cities, ravishing the countryside, going all over and taking everybody's stuff. Now, I've argued against that many times. I don't believe that's going to happen. And there have been other books, and it's kind of become a standard in a lot of preparedness books, a lot of preparedness videos, the preparedness world as a whole, simply because as things get repeated, they pick up this sense of being right. Okay, well, the more you hear something repeated, the more you have a tendency to believe that it's true, right? Well, I mean, unless unless you think for yourself. Uh, and we've heard this over and over and over again. But the reason that I disagree with that is because I know city people. I know what would happen. I write about it extensively in my books, so I won't go into the whole thing. And there will always be somebody that will come on and say, "Oh, yes, it will." Somebody that's just kind of repeating what they've heard. If you want to hear my reasoning, I write extensively about it in the Stonemont series. But just like that is a fear that is continued on, so is this fear about, well, they're just going to come take my stuff. I don't understand why anybody would put the time and the money and the effort into preparedness and not put enough time, money, and effort into securing that preparedness. And yet, when I talk to people, I find that that's probably the area in which most, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think most preppers are fall real short. Now PMPs, preparedness-minded people, those who come at it from an integrative, place, they're not, because they have included their security, their safety and security, along with everything else that they've prepared. For every can of beans I've got, I need a way to protect that can of beans. So think about what I would suggest. Think about your protective stance. Think about your security stance. Is it everything that you want it to be? Is it everything that it should be? What if everything collapsed right now, wherever you live? Just like in my books, or say the election's coming, and they shut everything down, and they want to see what happens, right? Within a week of the grid being down, the world's going to be a crazy place, right? I don't think crazy like a lot of people project. It's not going to be crazy in the suburbs. It's not going to be crazy in the country. It's going to be crazy in the cities, where the people are already crazy. And I don't mean everybody in the cities. There's a lot of great people live in the cities, but what I mean is that is where you get a more condensed group of crazy acting people. And when there's no lights and there's no police, the crazy's going to get crazier, right? So yeah, that's going to be a huge problem. But going back to my situation of people being afraid of the golden hordes, they're not coming out to the suburbs. They're staying down there where they're used to being crazy and just going to get crazier. We'll be able to see the fires from the suburbs, but the fires aren't coming out here unless somebody kicks over a candle in their house. So when you think about what if everything collapsed right now, grids down, right? First off, what do you think is going to happen? If you live in the country, your neighbors aren't going to come after you. Hopefully, I mean there might be some. And I shouldn't have said that, because when you get out into the country, you get a lot. Not as many as in the city, but probably per capita just as many mean, crazy people as anywhere else. And the guy that's down there, you know, I won't try to describe it, but you out there in the country, you know who I'm talking about. You know, all the meth heads, all the tweakers, all the everybody. You know, there's plenty out there that can be a danger to you. As a matter of fact, I would think that probably that's more dangerous than being in the suburbs, simply because in the suburbs you really don't have that many people that are, you know, aberrant in their behavior. You really don't. You know, you get that more out in the country and in the city. But and I say that I know somebody's going to argue with me, and so let me just put in the thing here. I've been a cop in a big city. I've been a deputy sheriff in the country. I've been a small town marshal. I've lived in the country. I've lived in small towns, and I've lived in cities. And take my word for it. Okay. But think about what if. Okay, everything comes down. Eventually, there are going to be some problems. Okay, within a couple of weeks of everything being down, yeah, even in the suburbs, your neighbors are going to be knocking on your door. Hey, do you have anything to eat? Yeah, we're out. And then, as I say in my books, you have a choice to make. You can either start giving them things, in which case, you know, like I said, do you have enough for everything they need and everything needed by everything they know, everybody they know, and everybody they know, because you're going to be become known as a source, right? Or do you say no and and then cause bad feelings, and then you have the seeds of some problems? You know, that's a choice you have to make. That's why I suggest, and we're kind of getting off of where I was headed here, but I'll get back in a second. That's why I suggest, when even though I like the suburbs for when things are going well, if everything does collapse, you want to get away from the more densely populated areas, and because that's when you're going to have to set up your own little fortress, you know, and you want it more easily defended. But what are you going to do, even, you know, wherever you are, whether it's city, suburbs, small town? Do you have a plan in mind? I do. I think a lot of people do. So what's your plan? Okay. Are you able to defend yourself? Even now, are you able to defend yourself now? Going to the store, going to a show, going to a football game. Okay. Do you have that constantly in your mind? You should. You should have it so constantly in your mind that you're not even thinking about it. It's just habit. Just habit. So that if you need it, you're not having to fight through those three enemies that I always talk about: confusion, fear, and then the problem or the attacker. But it's just normal. It should be ingrained in you. But one thing you shouldn't do is fear. You should not fear that I've got all this stuff, but I've got enough stuff so that people now are going to try to, or come take it from me. Okay? Because you should have thought about that. And like I say, preparedness should not be about fear. It should be about confidence. Now, it's never about certainty. You never know. You can never be certain of what's going to happen. But the more you prepare, the more confident you can be. My son has his first football game, this afternoon. They're going out there. A bunch of schools come together and they kind of scrimmage together. And so it's not really a game, but it's the first time he's going to be out there against multiple other schools. And they have prepared. Okay. Now, are they certain that they're going to win? No, but they have confidence in themselves. They have confidence in their abilities. They have confidence, and the confidence comes and is directly proportional to how much you've prepared. Okay. How much have you practiced? How much have you thought about the scenarios? And it's important to do that. You know, the mind games will prepare you, and I don't mean I'm playing mind games. But the mind games will prepare you for the eventuality of reality. So when you prepare, stay away from these failure mindsets. You know, stay away. If you're going to prepare, well, let me back it up and put it another way. If you think that everybody's just going to come take your stuff, why prepare? Okay. The person who can't defend his stuff is just preparing for other people, right? So think about that. Make security. Matter of fact, I'm writing another book right now, and I'm in the middle of talking about this. Make security, one of the foundational principles of your preparedness. Don't ever think, oh man, I hope nobody comes and takes it from me. What you should think about is, if somebody comes and takes it from me, here's what I'm going to do so they won't. Right? Does that make sense? I think it does. So I hate it when I hear people with that kind of attitude. And I'm not talking, if the person who left that comment is listening to this, I hope you are. I'm not at all talking against you. I hate to hear the comment. I don't hate you. I'm not saying that you're stupid. I hate to hear the comment because it shows me that you haven't thought through this and you haven't put security up there high enough on your preparedness pyramid. Does that sound good? Okay. Hey, just to remind you before I let you go that this and all of my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. Yes, my books, the books that I wrote. The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, Hostages to Fortune, and the latest one, the 7th one in the series, On Wings Like Eagles. And like I keep saying, man, this is just blowing them out. I think we set another record the other day on these books, and that is great. If you haven't read them and you're serious about preparedness, I would suggest that reading these is the very next thing you do. You won't believe the things you'll learn. Okay, you really won't. It's a great story. It's a story about a family who, as a result of their preparedness, was able to not just survive the total collapse of everything, but continue to live a very high quality life. And not only that, but to help other people too. And then as we go through the series, I show how to rebuild community and such. It's a great story, and you'll learn a lot. And you can get them a couple of different ways. You can get them on Amazon and either paperback, Kindle, or Audible. And that link's down below. Or you can get them directly from me, and I really like it when you do that because I get to sign them for you and write a little note in there. Now, you can only get them in paperback from me, but you get them signed. And that link is also down below. We do have a one-click option because people asked for it, and we have had people buy a dozen sets to send their friends. And so there is a one-click option that when you get the whole set, when you buy the whole set, you get a nice discount, and we throw in the Stonemont notebook, which is, I love mine. I use mine all the time. It's just an open, I won't open it up, but it's just lined pages that you can keep your notes on or your lists or whatever like that. And it's great. People like it. So may I suggest that be the next thing you do, either Amazon or through us directly in the stonemont.us website. That's also where you can order the mugs and our t-shirts and stuff like that. Let me take one more sip before everything tastes better out of these mugs. I kid you not. So think about that. And think about, protection being one of the elemental steps you take for your preparedness. And don't prepare out of fear. And don't prepare out of negativity. Prepare from a position of positivity, saying, I want to continue to live and provide for whoever depends on me a good life no matter what happens, and I'm going to protect it. And I'm going to make sure that I have the skills and the equipment to protect it. Okay, so I hope that helps some of you think about it. If you're not there yet, boost that up, because if you can't protect it, you can't keep it. All right, you'll have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.